All right, well, with the awful events in Texas, our children are understandably on edge.
So what do we say to them and how can we help?
Dr. Laura Saunders from the Institute of Living is here now to talk more about this. Well, I'm glad it's Wednesday, and I'm glad you're here, Doc, because we need some answers.
Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. I wish I had a happier topic to talk about, but we'll have to save that for another day.
Absolutely. All right, so unfortunately, another shooting in another school in the United States here. Our kids are on edge. I know Roger Susanna was talking to some of the kids in Southington this morning. Some of them are afraid to go to school. You know, it's just not a good scenario.
I know in West Hartford they added more police presence. So even if you're not talking about your kids, they know, right? They're hearing about it. So do you bring it up?
So it really depends on sort of how people are finding out about it. Young people are finding out about it. You're right. If there's like added security or more police presence, or, you know, now you're doing another lockdown drill just to be safe, it's going to heighten everyone's sense of arousal. That means children, teens, parents, teachers, administrators, everyone's sense of arousal. And when your arousal is heightened, everything feels like it's on edge. And that's a really difficult emotional place to be in for any length of time, because that kind of stress just wears you away emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? I love that you give language to it, because that's something I think sometimes it helps. Like, okay, you have a heightened sense of arousal. That makes sense. But how do we help them so that, you know, maybe they're not acting out in school or feeling really unsafe when maybe that's not appropriate?
So what I like to do is I like to put a label to it. You know, with kids, you might say, like, how was your school day? I like to ask open-ended questions, right? How was your school day? Did anything happen today that you wanted to talk about? Like, you don't even have to label it as scary or unsafe, right? Anything happened today you want to talk about? Yes, we had another lockdown drill, or yes, there was extra police and security at our school. Well, why do you think there was police and security there? What were you told by the teachers? And then, right, again, see, I'm asking kind of open-ended questions to get information. And then with each piece of information that your child gives you, you can answer it in a more simple way. So what I like to emphasize is that we cannot promise anything, but we can provide assurance that the schools are doing their best to keep us safe. We will do our best to keep you safe here. You know, I don't have any guarantees, but I don't need to say that to young children who have zero control over their lives. So you provide assurance, but not promises. You use plain and simple language, and you just try to answer their question and not give them a lot of emotionally laden material that they can't manage.
And, you know, and I guess the age of the child is also super important as well. The younger they are, the less I guess they need to know. The older they are, the more they understand and hear. So you got to address it more with the older kids.
So we always take a developmental approach based on, right, elementary, I group it into categories: elementary school, middle school, high school. You take a developmental approach in the kind of information that you're giving, but you're really always basing it on what you're getting from your child. If your child brings up nothing and doesn't seem to be affected by it all, then you don't need to say anything. You can ask open-ended questions. How was your day? Did anything happen today? Did you hear anything from other kids? Ask open-ended questions, see what you get. But we don't want to, as adults, take our anxiety, because we hold all the pieces, and put it onto our children. So answer the question, use simple language based on development, and try to provide some basic assurances, but we can't make any promises.
Yeah, so what do you say? I mean, often I think I've heard this from my kids, like, what if it happens here? How do you answer that?
So, well, if it happens here, I'd like to believe that the school is as prepared as they can be. We will do our best to take care of you. But it's hard to wake up every day with the feeling that something bad could happen today. That's a hard way to go through the day. So we're going to shift our mindset, and we're going to hope that everything's going to be okay, but plan for if something goes wrong. Because as I've been told many times, hope is not a strategy, but hope is what gets you out of bed in the morning.
All right. Well, we can't thank you enough for being here. As always, your words of importance ring through our audience, and we so appreciate your advice, Doctor.
Please take care, Scott and Kara.
Absolutely. You too. Stay
Thanks.
safe.